Lots of folks. I was told not to leave this box, otherwise online people are not going to see me. So I'll try my best. I like pacing. I was pacing a lot there, but I'll stay in my box. All right, good morning, folks. I'll get back to my title in a little bit, but today I will share with you 3 confessions and 5 takeaways. And it's going to be a bit of a personal talk, so bear with me. So we'll start with this. Why do I share this? Because if my talk really sucks, at least you saw a cute boy with cows. No, it's because most people think I'm French, but I'm not. And as you can see, that's not France. It's flat as a coin, and there's cows. Anyways, I also lost my blonde hair, clearly, but this is me. This is also me. I did not land this trick, I'm sorry. But the photo looks great, right? Anyhow, why I share this? Because I grew up with skateboarding culture, and that's somewhere my inspiration comes from other things too. For those that are really old and remember this, 401 VM, yes, that's a VHS, for those that still know what that is. But I used to buy these if I could afford them, but they're skateboard videos. And again, actually, I think the typography in this is great. This is still me, okay, a little more casual. It's actually a warehouse. We were shooting a brand campaign in the Czech Republic. All right, why am I giving a bit of a personal intro? I think it's important. We're all people, right? So we should remember that. So I want you to get to know me a little bit more. So what am I into? Here's one thing. So why do I share that with you? Because I also used to play Gran Turismo, and if you remember Laguna Seca, my one dream was to go there, get in the car, and drive the lap. Why I also like this is because you really have to be focused. If you're not focused, you're going to crash, and that's the car gone, and I can't take the kids to school. I've calmed down a little bit because that wasn't very safe. So these days, I cycle, and this was with my brother, who's online watching, I think. And we didn't fall. Don't worry, the GoPro fell. But it's the most aesthetically pleasing result I've ever seen in my life. So there you go. But I love this too. All right, speaking of design, I have a bit of an obsession with 60s and 70s Italian design. I own 3 of these TVs, which has no functional need. But what I love is that these were made for coffee tables. And coffee tables are low. So when you're sitting down, it needs to arch up. Smart design. And it's just beautiful. I do not know why it has 2 antennas, by the way. No idea. But that's also Italian design. A little bit more about me. That's my oldest daughter and my wife. And we love traveling. Actually, she encouraged me to travel a lot more. And this is a very brutalist installation in Bosnia. If you ever have the occasion to check it out, it is in the middle of nowhere, but it's absolutely stunning and beautiful. Similar in Patagonia. What I love about these 2 examples is that they feel very natural in their context and in the space. But love discovering things like that, and it inspires me as well. All right, little note about my kids. So I have 2 daughters, and having spent a lot of time in the US, Halloween is a big thing. So we decided to dress up our kids. They're still young enough that they accept this. It will stop at some point. So we dressed them up, raspberry, blueberry, and then we did this one, then we did this one, then we did this one, which was very, very long and complicated. So the next year we're like, you know what, we're going to make it simple. And then for those that have been to Paris, you probably know these. They're all around the city, so we did that one. We decided, also not smart, to cut out from foam board all these individual pieces. And then the last one is this one. We turned them into beetles. Now, why do I share this with you? Because I think at heart, everyone here and online, I think you identify as makers. I hope so. And I want you to keep that in mind. But here's my first confession. I wasn't always a designer. Actually, technically, I'm an economist, which is a bit weird. Not that it really matters, but I always loved design. So I want to share another design detail with you. And again, why I obsess over Italian design. This is a Lamborghini Miura. Now, I can't afford this. unfortunately. It's too expensive. There's a beautiful backstory on this car and a reaction to Ferrari. But I'm not going to share that with you because that's going to take the rest of the talk. But what I wanted to point out is that this is their logo. It's a bull. Now let's go back to the car for a second. When you open the doors and you look at the car from the front, something very special happens. I think you all recognize the bull. And why I share this is I think this is an example among many why we become designers. Details like that. And I would encourage you, share in the next break or lunch, why did you become a designer? Because we tend to forget that question, what got us here. And yes, I will talk a little bit about AI later, but let's wait. Okay, back to the title. So actually, this is, in French, it's Le roi est mort, vive le roi. So the king is dead, long live the king. Why I like it is because this phrase crops up regularly as a headline for articles, tutorials, or advertisements on themes of succession or replacement. Damien was talking about a little bit. We've been dead so many times, I can't remember. I'm still here, you're still here, so I think we're okay. Anyway, succession. Just kidding, we're not going to talk about succession. Anyways, let's dive in a little bit. I'm going to begin in 1995. Yes, I have a few gray hairs, I'm old. I'm getting old, basically. Okay, this is not me, but somehow I couldn't find a picture of me. However, this is the computer we had at home in 95, 96. It's a Packard Bell, the white box. We all, I hope everyone had a white box. Anyways, apologies to the little boy here. I don't know who he is, but you're doing a fine job. I was a little older. Okay, who remembers this? Oh, we have some folks. Okay, wait. Another question. Who here made a skin? Oh! Well done. I'm impressed. No, honestly, if you made a skin, it was the pinnacle of design, okay? Seriously, that's it. I mean, this is absolutely an amazing collection. And actually, turns out there's a whole website documenting this stuff, so go check it out. Confession number 2. I never used Photoshop. Honestly, stuff was too complicated. Layers, what is going on? I just started with Fireworks and Illustrator, to be honest. Anyways, so now we're in 2001. So now I'm going to share with you a few what I think have been significant revolutions throughout at least my career. So the first one is the web revolution. We tend to forget, but that was kind of a big thing. It wasn't always there. Okay, next one. Who remembers this website? Oh, we got a few. Yeah, look at that. So this is K10K, or Caliber 10,000. Now, I brought a little prop, because I was such a fanboy. I actually have the OG K10K t-shirt that you could buy. So that was in 2001. So this is a 24-year-old t-shirt. I obviously did not wash it. Anyways, but I love this website. But not actually, less so for its content. Here's what I would do. I would zoom in 4,000% to figure out how did they make those things. Because it's beautiful. I mean, for those that were obsessed with pixel fonts back in the day, that's design too. It's learning. It's being an apprentice and figuring out how good stuff is made. All right. Obviously, I can't talk about the web without talking about our favorite technology ever, Flash. And this piece of museum. I hear they're making a comeback, by the way. What I love is that we're looking at 45 seconds to a minute of just loading the damn website. But it doesn't matter. At the time, it was like the best thing ever. And honestly, I think it's still loading. Jeez. Okay, is it done? I think it's done. No, but this was really a moment in time, and it felt like boundless creativity. And we had a canvas to play on. But then this fine man, my friend Steve, wrote something called Thoughts on Flash, which, I mean, that was a bit of a euphemism because he just killed the entire technology in one article. So Rest in peace, Flash. It's been a while. But lucky for us, Steve was nice and gave us the mobile revolution. So now I'm around 2010. I know the iPhone was introduced earlier, 2007, and actually that wasn't the biggest shift for our industry. The biggest shift was 2008 with the launch of the App Store. That's when it really started. Suddenly you had a new platform again. So I want to share you when I started designing my first app. So it was interesting. I was at a startup and we had some cool technology to recognize audio and video. So we decided to create an app that could recognize what you're watching. Now, you're asking yourself, we had some cool visuals to do that, because Shazam had their cool visual. Now, you might be asking yourself, excuse me, if I'm watching the show, I know what I'm watching. So why would I need to, again, know what I'm watching? Well, turns out, it actually, two things. It was a cool feature, let's be honest, and I'll share that in a minute. But it actually was the fact that people could connect with each other remotely on that same show. So what we discovered is that the social impact was huge. People would have hour-long conversations during and after the show. So, it's funny how technology starts to enable those use cases that you may not have thought of. It was true for the web, it was true for mobile, and it will be true for AI. Anyways, a little video I wanted to share at the time because we had someone go test the app in a live TV studio to see if he could, well, I'll show you. Here, let's take a look.
Scraping against the underside of that bridge. This is in New Hampshire. Now, the chunks of ice created ice dams, and that caused flooding. An excavator was brought in to break things up, and in a few minutes you're going to hear where severe weather is headed today. Libya is crumbling into civil war, and we're getting a better idea about the absolute fear that people there are feeling. An emotional witness described to CNN's Anderson Cooper what he was seeing.
My favorite part is coming up.
That's incredible. How does it do that?
So it took a little longer because our delay was 4 seconds. Because how the technology works, it fingerprints live television, then processes it, puts it on the server. So that is why usually we can match in 4 seconds. If it's live, like there's always a delay. If there's some F-bombs that are dropped, you know what I'm talking about, right? So that's why it took like 10 seconds to match. But it's amazing that someone took the effort to try this and fool the technology. But my point is actually more, sometimes we create magic. So remember that. I know 90% of the time you're just shipping like a feature or something, but we do, keep that spirit, right? All right, I'm going to move on to my time at Uber. And of course, like any good designer, I have too many slides and not enough time, so I'll try to be respectful of the time. My wife was reading New Yorker, because I can't fake it, I'm not that intellectual. It was April 14, 2025, and I'm just going to read this little paragraph. So this person, he sits at his dining room table and watches the progress of the Uber on his phone. It is like a primitive video game from his youth. The little car approaches the university gates, it turns, it comes to a stop, it spins around and proceeds toward his apartment with his daughter inside. So my wife sends this to me, and I was like, oh, that's exactly what we were going for. And this is literally a few weeks ago, and I was already going to talk about obsessing over tiny cars on a map. So now we're around 2015. And with the team, we were working on a big redesign of the Uber app, like literally from the ground up. And this is what we were doing. We were literally crazily obsessing. We're like, we're going to make it 3D. And we weren't very good 3D artists. I mean, look at that. It's just a bunch of boxes. And I don't know why we did a plane, but whatever. Anyhow, we were obsessing over it. And we told the engineers, like, it's only 5,000 polygons. It will do fine. We can do this in a phone. And the engineers, they looked at us like, dude, you're going to fry the damn phone. Like, the battery life is going to be dead. So we're like, okay, but we need cool cars on the map. Like, we were going for that video, primitive video reality game thing, which was kind of nice to see that, even 10 years later, what type of impact that makes. So how did we solve this problem? Well, in a very old school way. Sprites. So this was painstaking, because these sprites are freaking long. And basically, that's how it moves. So there's a bunch of sprites, actually, for each type of car. But that didn't solve the entire problem. We also wanted to be realistic, because one of the biggest key differentiators of a car is its color. Well, okay, not entirely true, because most are like black, white, or gray, but whatever, if they have a nice color. So we had the sprites. That worked pretty well in terms of doing it. But then we made sure to dynamically color all the cars. And this is one of the fantastic design engineers at the time that worked on this to show the engineers basically, no, this is totally possible, and it will not fry the phone nor the battery. So yeah, this is a bunch of colors with a sprite moving through the window. So again, I love this type of stuff, right? Where you're trying to figure it out. And I think that we will always keep, no matter what revolution is happening. All right. I wanted to fast forward to 2018, or thereabouts, 2019, 2020. I'm going to talk about design systems for a second. Actually, it's going to be more of a rant. Because, I mean, it wasn't actually the most favorite time of my career. Now, I'll say one thing before I break everything, is design systems matter, don't get me wrong. But, you know, this is, for those in the back, this is what I'm doing, okay? Yeah? All right. The first thing you do. Suddenly, everything was a system. System, right? We were talking about systems for the system of the system. And what it started feeling like is this. You know? This is our industry. This is what it's become. We're just shipping features, all of that stuff. It's not entirely true, but I do think that at some point, this is what it started feeling like. So this is Charlie Chaplin, right? The classic movie. And we won't watch the whole thing, just when he says, hold on, stop, he's crazy. There you go. Okay, this is stressful. So let's go to today. Actually, my point is not that design systems don't matter. I've worked with them, I introduced them at Uber, we have it at Conta now. It's important, but it cannot be the only thing. At the end of the day, what do you want to do? You want to ship customer value, right? Well, I hope so, or at least value for your users. Okay, here is where I get to the thing that I must talk about but don't want to talk about, but obviously we're going to talk about. It is the AI revolution. And luckily, you'll have some other talks today that will go much deeper. My point is not so much what can we do with AI and whatnot, but just to talk about it a little bit in the context of being a designer. Okay, this is the ugliest slide I have in this presentation, but that's not the point. The point is that what you can see here is adoption curves. Well, actually, the curve stops being a curve, it's just like straight up. So with each technology, it gets adopted faster. And what's shocking, this is also an ugly slide, but it's from Andreessen Horowitz, so it's not my fault. If you compare Netflix to reach 1 million users, took 3.5 years. And actually, even Instagram, the hotness at the time, took 3 months. ChatGPT, 5 days. 5 days. Complete insanity, literally. But what does that mean? It just means it's not that we never had revolutions. Not like AI is suddenly a different type of revolution. Time compresses. The internet took like what, a decade to really penetrate everywhere? Mobile, let's give it 5 years. AI, ChatGPT, barely a year. I would say even less, but let's say take a year until we really were cooking with fire. Okay, I'm gonna end. Well, actually, I'm not going to end yet, but I'm going to go into this AI revolution at Conto. And actually, I've shared a lot of product stuff, but now I'm going to talk about a brand campaign. Because at Conto, we have one design team, so I span all across it, and it's been fun. So I'm going to play our latest brand campaign.
Voici probablement la plus grande innovation du monde.
Des finances pro.
Avec Conto, simplifiez toutes vos finances pro.
All right, so we had some fun doing this, and it was actually, so one thing, okay, one number, 50%. All right, obviously, I'm cheating a little bit. I know what the 50% is about. You don't. It's 50% AI. Because clearly, we don't have money to get a rocket up in the sky. I was very worried about this because, the agency we're working with, they're like, no, it's going to be fine, don't worry, we're going to shoot some stuff. The latter part is shot in person. And then this AI, these guys are really good. And then I saw the first renderings, I'm like, we're not going to get there. But we did get there. But the funniest thing was when I was reviewing sort of what they were doing, and I was talking to the director. So, if you pay close attention, these rockets don't even freaking match. They're not the same. Like literally, this rocket is entirely different. The platform is different. There's a water tower there that suddenly showed up. So I point all this out because I'm a designer, right? And the director tells me, who was a fantastic German director, he says, it doesn't matter. I'm like, what? And you know what? He was right. It doesn't. It matters like 0%. Who here actually noticed in those 20 seconds? I know, I didn't either. Anyways, but it was very interesting to see how fast. I mean, a few years ago, you couldn't do this. You couldn't do this type of stuff, right? Anyways, of course, as a proper design leader, I need to create a Notion doc to talk about AI and how you should use it. Anyways, I'm not going into that, but it is a thing. But here's my third confession. Honestly, I have no idea how AI will change the world, but it most likely will. But that's the fun part. Now I'm really going to end on the one design studio, and also say that, honestly, creativity is human. So now I'm going to share the final project, which really has nothing to do with AI. But we partner with an artist to create virtual cards, because, it's fun. And this is his studio, back to skateboards, love skateboards. And he shares a few words.
The more I paint the idea of connecting, the more I want to connect. It's a never-ending story. Welcome to my studio here in Normandy. I've been living here since 2018. Skateboarding really put me where I am today. I love how a simple thing, piece of wood with 4 wheels, can just take you everywhere. And art came later. Those guys scared me.
I'll skip this for now to show you the actual product we launched, which ended up being really fun. This ended up being a perfect collaboration between all the disciplines within design to create something that is, personal, unique, and fun within a space arguably kind of boring, right? Sorry, I'm just going to say it. It's a fintech. But honestly, what I've started to realize more, and I think we all know it, a united design team creates amazing opportunities. All right, I shared a lot, I talked a lot, my mouth is dry. So let's wrap this up. No idea how I'm doing on timing, but I hope good. So, my takeaways. Honestly, the first one is curiosity. Throughout my career, I've always been so curious to understand how something works. So stay curious, always. Taste. Actually, Cameron is going to close today, and I think he's going to talk a lot about this. But that also means developing good problem resolution skills, because no matter what technology you use, we need to get to that. And honestly, I'm going to remind everyone about the basics. Craft matters. I mean, you need to know what a grid system is and how you use colors and how you do things. And yeah, AI will be good, but if you don't have an opinion on it, it's not going to work. It's funny how quickly we forget all of these things. My Japanese is rusty, but this is a Toyota plant. And they say, good thinking, good products. And I kind of love it. So thank you, Toyota. Because that is such a great philosophy. They have a whole system behind their philosophy, which I'm not going to talk about. And the last one, Snoop, dare to experiment. I think I see too many folks in not doing that anymore. But this is what AI can give us. It is a new platform to experiment, and I think that is absolutely very, very fun. Okay, also frustrating because I need to prompt it like 5 million times to get what I want, but outside of that, really remember, dare to experiment because we're very good at that as designers. And with that, thank you very, very much.